All right, today we'll be talking on about auto layout. I'll just go straight to the point. Then we are going to dive into how the practical aspects of auto layout. We'll just go into the theory of auto layout then before we dive into the design actually. About auto layout. Auto layout, from what you're seeing from my screen, it says auto layout is a layout system that dynamically arrange and position UI elements within an app interface. It allows us to create flexible and responsive interfaces that looks great. Now, what this means is like this page you're seeing now, this screen you're seeing, they are not in auto layout. Auto layout helps you to arrange and position your elements. Auto layout is better than grouping. A lot of persons do grouping. Some persons just go on their screen, design and leave it like that. But when you auto layout your work, it helps to look, it makes it looks beautiful. It helps your interface, makes it look beautiful and flexible and also responsive. Like when the developers want to develop the work, it's responsive. They don't get to find it hard to do that. Then why do we auto layout? We auto layout to calculate our size and position of views in our in view hierarchy. Like what is this, what you are saying meaning of auto layout and the definition of auto layout. This is, I think, the mentor that taught you last week talked about hierarchy in a way. Now, from what you're seeing here, if I auto lay out this, you know that okay, when you come to this side, the first thing you're seeing is the meaning of auto layout because of the visual hierarchy. If I decide to now place this here or just keep it anyhow, it you may find it difficult to get and to navigate through the system. Do you understand? So there is a site we are going to look at. We'll be doing practicalizing auto layout in its fullest so that you really understand what I'm saying. It look as though I'm just speaking English. Please hold on, let me screenshot this site, then we will dive into it. Okay. I believe you can still see my screen. Okay. All right. So this is what we will be duplicating because your task for this week uh, has to do with this. We are going to replicate this in few minutes. Before then, let's get our screen or our frame. And for the desktop frame, you have to use 1440 by 1024. That's his is already here, desktop view. So you click on it, it appears here. Let's place it down or let's do it side by side instead. Then there's something called grid system. You cannot just start designing on your screen without your grid system. So for the desktop view, your grid system, you click on grid system, you click here, you go to columns. Now your count should be 12, your gutter should be 24, while your margin for your grid system should be 100. You can either use 72 from 72 downwards, but I love using 100 because it helps my in my spacing. If I choose to do, let's say 40, my spacing it won't work well because my spacing, this margin here is too small. It doesn't look like a desktop view, so I use 100 or I use 72. All right, I've set my grid system, but now let's also set the row. Or let's just leave that. It doesn't really count. You learn about it as we go on. But let's focus on this. So let me zoom in a little. Now, the first thing you're seeing here is this nav bar where you have your fitness blenders. That's the site. You have your workout, your programs, healthy living, and the rest. This is called your nav bar, your navigation bar. Now, to make your work faster and easier, other than you going to start designing this circle here, there is something called pipa or chrome extension, whichever works for you. if you can choose to design it, or you go on Google and you type fitness blender logo, it may appear like this. But I love using my CSS paper because it helped me to get all of this done. So I go to my CSS paper. I've already downloaded it. So when I click on it, it gives me this. Then when I click on this, yeah, when I click on this, it gives me this. Why is this not working out? Hold on. Oh, my network is slow. Please give me some minutes. Okay, it's up again. I don't know why this is not working now, but let's forget about it. Let's leave this logo. Let's just go to the fitness blender at once because of our time frame. So we are going to write it manually. I don't know why that refused to work. Okay, so we have got our text. We have fitness blender behind this. Now, mind you, don't use 000, but we won't mind that for now. We're just going to show you. I'm going to show you about auto layout, but let me just follow the normal UI procedures. So I won't using. I'm not using 000. I'm using 272727. My text is enter. I will reduce the font size of this. Will 20 work? Yeah, to 20, so that this fitness will come up, will pop up. Okay, I think this works. Now, with that CSS blend, with this CSS paper, you can also see the kind of font that was used on this panel here. The right hand panel, you can see that they used multiple fonts. They use Arial, they use Lucida Grants, they use Mason, and they use sans serif. So you can choose from among the fonts that was used. Now, when you click on this workout, all right. So from what I was saying, it shows the fonts that you're supposed to use. Now let's quickly do this workout, programs, healthy living, community. I'm trying to rush myself so we can finish early. Sorry, I'm not using the actual font. Well, let's see. Okay, let's see Inter. Let me use Inter. Um, one of the fonts they used was sans serif. I don't think I have the font. I don't have any of this as I have to install it, but let's just stick to Inter. Okay, let me reduce this. It's almost popping out. It's Let me reduce it again. Okay. Now the drop down you're seeing here, you can either use a plugin or in Iconify, or you can either create it manually If you are creating it manually, you go on this polygon, then you draw it. I'm talking about this steel nav bar drop down you're seeing there. So when you do this, you can rotate it downwards, then you reduce the size. Now for instead of you to on this left right hand panel, instead of you to do it width, you do it separate, the height you do it separate, you just come on this box, you click on it, then you can reduce to say 20. Both the height and the width will reduce at the same time. 20 is still big for me, reduce to 16. Mind you, I'm using my 8-point grid system. So you don't just start designing without knowing your 8-point grid system, which can either be multiplication of, when I mean 8 points, I mean multiplication of 8, like, or multiplication of 4. Yeah, starting from 4, multiply 4 again, it gives you 8, multiply like that. Don't do 30. Some persons will use 12, so then later on they will use 15, later on they'll use 19. No, it should be based on your grid system. You also be taught that, but the focus is auto layout. But I just have to put that in, you have to put that in mind. So I'm using my 8-point grid system. That's why you're seeing I'm using 16. I'll set this to 490, set this to 142. Okay, now so that I will not stress to start checking which color was used, I'll have to also use the paper, so to say, in Figma. On, you can see my screen, you click on this because I want to change the color from gray to the actual color that was used. Then you click on the color, automatically it changes this. Let me remove, let me follow my grid system that was used. I used 100. You can see that it's starting right from the margin. Then I want to auto lay out this drop down and this right up. But it looks as though the drop down is giving more hierarchy than the right up. So I will still have to reduce it again because I do not want them to, the first thing for them to see, it shouldn't be the drop down. Rather, it should be the text. But it's too small. So I do 12. Yeah, I think it's still small. Let's just, okay, let's do 14. All right, now I want to auto lay out this with this. They are separate. I can move this and move this around. But when I auto lay out them, it will become one. So I click on this workout and then hold my shift button on my laptop and then click on this and then do shift A. That's the shortcut of auto layout, shift A. Or let me do it manually. After I click on this, I can then hold my shift button again, click on this, and then I will right click and it will show me add auto layout. If you don't want to go straight to shift A, you can add auto layout. Once I click on add auto layout, it gives me this. Now you will also notice that on the right hand panel, you're seeing auto layout, you're seeing horizontal gap between them, the space between workout and the drop down is 14. Then the horizontal padding, that's down the sides. Let's do this so you see it. This here, this line you're seeing here, here and here is called the horizontal padding, while up and down is called the vertical padding. Left and right are horizontal paddings, up and down are vertical paddings. When you hover on it, you will see it. So I want to give it breathing space. I then make it 8. When I click on it, you see that it has adjusted on its own. I also click on it, it has given it enough breathing space. So that you know that it has enough space, let's just quickly do something, but I'll delete it so for emphasis sake, so you understand better. So when I click on this stroke, I want to add a stroke. Now you can see that it has a lot of breathing space. If I want to add both horizontal and vertical padding, I can come and manually I'll now put 24 for my horizontal, put another 24 for my vertical. Have you seen that it is now having enough breathing space? And the more you do this, what happens is that it automatically stays in the middle. It doesn't go up, it doesn't come down. As you increase your horizontal and vertical padding, it adjusts itself. But if you do only grouping, grouping will not give you accuracy, but auto layout gives you accuracy. Now, still on this panel, you can actually take it up, and when you click on up, it is this that goes up, or your element goes up. You have up, you have middle, you have down, it comes down. But you depends on what you're doing. Mere looking at it, like, and looking at it is not properly aligned, so you leave it at center. Because if you put it up, if you auto layout this to up, it is not balanced, so you have to put it center. So once it's centered, it looks balanced. Now, because of what we are doing, this stroke is not supposed to be here. I just added this so that you will see the breathing space I'm talking about. Now let's make this 16 so that you have enough space, because if you're designing for desktop, you should ensure that your work have a good white spacing. It should not be choked, like as though you're designing for mobile design is different from web, and ensure that it has enough spacing. Then let me remove the stroke. I will just hide it. So if I click on this eye, it's hidden. Or let me just manually ungroup. Yeah, another one is, as you do this, if you want to remove it from auto layout, some person will feel stressed and will start removing it one after the other from the box. Or yeah, now this is the frame is still here. What auto layout also means is that it puts your elements in a frame. It puts your elements in a frame. Let me take this back. Let me do my Control Z. I want to remove this auto layout automatically. I then right click, and I'm seeing on group. So when I ungroup this, they are no longer in auto layout. They are now alone. If I want to add it back to auto layout, I will still do the same. Shift A. It's straightforward. I don't want to add the padding, the horizontal and vertical padding, so I leave it like this. Let's proceed. So we are done with workout. I'm checking my grid system. I'm to use 96. What's the next thing? We're having programs, healthy living, duplicate. I just did Control D to duplicate. What's the next one? We have community, about, community, about, store, membership. Alright, it will break out from my screen, but I'll adjust it. I will adjust it by reducing the font size, because my font size is big, so I'll have to adjust it and reduce it. So don't worry, let's just proceed. Group. Let me delete this. We have four. What do we have again? Let me take this to my screen so that I can see it. Okay, we have store, we have membership. It should be, oh, to lay out all of this. Hi, sign in. Okay. Or this will be arranged. Mm. This is this. What I'll do, I'll reduce the horizontal gap between them. It's big. Because I want to do this all at once. I don't want to do it one at a time. I would just click on shift. While I'm clicking, I can then reduce it all at once. I'm reducing it to 16. 16 is still too big. I reduce it to 8. Okay. Let's do 16. 16. Okay, now let's auto layer this together. Don't worry about how it's looking scattered. It will be arranged. Okay, we have membership. Alright, so click this, and I press my shift A. It aligns to the middle. Then it's showing that here is 28. The spacing between them is 28. And I don't want that spacing because of my grid system. You can also choose to change my grid system if you know that the elements are too much on the screen. I can change my grid system to 72 to give me enough space. There is no law that says you cannot change your grid system to adjust so that your work can fit in properly. Because I've changed it, I have enough space. Now the distance between this and this fitness, how did I get to this? When I click on this auto layout or this frame 7, and ensure that you name your frame appropriately. Ensure that you name your frame appropriately so that when somebody visits your site or your page, the person will not get lost. So when I click on this and I now press Alt on my keyboard, it's showing me 124, and I don't it's too far apart because of this thing has to come here, and also these icons. So when I auto layout this, I can easily adjust it to what I want. See, either you use it manually by clicking, let's say I click 8, I type in 80, or when I click on this, you just keep it steady. You see this back and forward arrow. You then drag it to the right, when you drag it to to the right, it increases. When you drag it to the left, it reduces, as the case may be, depending on what you want, or you manually reduce. Okay, 72 is not working because there's no much space here. Ensure that your element does not exceed your grid system. If it does, you've broken the rules in design. So I want to still reduce it to 64. Okay, I still need enough spacing. So now I think this will work. So now let me place hierarchy on this membership. So when I click on it, like what I told you initially, you click on this, you locate the color you want, straight to the point. I have placed hierarchy on it. Let me remove so that you can see it properly. I will now close this. Now see how it's looking. It's too sharp. It's in semi bold. Let me take it to medium. So this should not be in semi-bold. The rest of the text should not be in semi-bold or in medium. It should be in regular if you're placing hierarchy. It shows that this membership has been clicked. So when membership is clicked, the color changes to teal. If you're then other ones should be disabled. So when you put it on regular, it shows that it is disabled. So I'm putting them on regular, you see the difference. You can actually see the difference between programs and healthy living. The healthy living and the rest has more hierarchy in color because okay, change it to regular. You can either change it to regular or to light depending on the font you're using. Depending on the font we are using. So me, I want to change mine, or I'm changing mine to regular. If I change it to light, it's okay. I think light will work. Yeah, light will work. And also it also depends on your font color. If you're not using, like I'm using this dark shade of black, not 000. Not Don't ever use 000 on a white screen. Because I'm using this dark shade, I had to change it to gray, to light. But if I am using gray, if I switch this to this, light does not fit in on this screen. That's on this panel here, light does not fit in. So you can also adjust your color using this. You can play around it. Either you click on this and it brings out this, or you just go straight to this percentage. You either reduce it to 40, it reduces the color. So, but that's not what we're talking about. So let's go. All right, so we've placed hierarchy on this membership. Now let's do this. If you look on this screen, you see that there is kind of an invisible stroke. You can't properly see the stroke. We'll get to that. So let's just quickly do that stroke. All right. Okay. Click. And okay, this is, I want it in 100. I want it in 136 divisible by 8. 136. Okay. No, on to the wrong one. So I can also come here, like I told you, change it to gray. Move this up. This is a gray. Let's see if it works. Okay, let's change the opacity. Let's reduce the opacity to say 60. Still visible. Let's reduce it to 44. Let's see. Okay, it's not so visible again. Still, let's reduce it. Okay, I think I want it like this. 16. 16 works better for me. We will still auto lay out all of this together. Just sit tight as we go through. So this sign in is kind of competing with my fitness. So I'll also reduce it, then change the color. Excuse me. Since the color is already here, any color you change, it documents it. That's one beauty about Figma. It documents it in order for you to reuse it. You don't have to go searching for it. Or you can, if you click on this color, it will give you the color code. You can actually type in the color straight to the point. It gives you that color, or you use that paper, the Figma, the color paper to peep out the color. There are many ways to do it, to work around it. Okay, let me auto layout this again. Now you can auto layout as many elements as you want. There is no rule to how many elements you should auto layout. Auto layout as many elements as you wish. It depends on you, but ensure that what you're putting in auto layout is proper. Z. All right, let's reduce this to say 4. Okay, this works. Now, Ctrl Z. Let's duplicate this. It works. Still not forgetting. Do this to 2016. Okay. It's 8. I want to ensure that I'm not breaking out. Okay, I'm still on track. So when I click now, let's auto layout this stroke, and this element inside. So I click on this stroke. Like I told you, you hold your shift, you click on this, you press your shift A. You see it now, it came together. I can decide to adjust it. And then hold on. All right, this works better. Yeah. So it looks it's in the middle. Now let's get this icon. This is a search icon, and this is like a gift icon. Either you go to the community on Figma, and or you see view sax, VEUSAX. You run it. When you run it through, you download it, but you mostly see law run it. So when you see run it or try it out, you click on it, it will now appear on this panel here. But I love using my iconify. So when you click, right click, you see your plugins. If it has been downloaded, you come to iconify. Iconify is a collections of thousands of icons, different icons. It's opening. Hold on. Okay. So you just come here, um you search the icon I'm looking for is search. So when I click on search, what happens? It displays a whole lot. Now there are different icons. This is a filled icon. It's filled. This is an outline icon. You get, this is an outline icon. There are different kinds of icons. So if you're using your icons, please ensure that you're consistent. Don't use this today, don't use this on the nav bar or on the header, and you decide to now say no, let me change. You now use this. Don't use two different icons on your design. If you're sticking to field icon, stick to it. All your icons should be filled. If you're sticking to outline, stick to it. So I'll prefer this. Then when you click on it, it's being clicked, you come down here, you see import icons. Now what does that import icon means? It will now import it to the screen you're working on. See it here. Then like I told you, on this panel you can increase it to 32. It's feasible enough. It is in 000, and I don't want it to be in 000. Since I have already crammed my code, my color code, I will then input it and change it to 100. It's now looking okay. Then I place it here. Now let's go and search for the next one. Normally I just search for all the icons I want, then I import them, but because of that explanation I needed to do it manually. So let's use gifts. Okay, let's use bag. If you know the name of the icon, you can type it, it pops out straight to the point. Okay, it could not connect. Is it my network? Is it my network? Sorry, my network is doing what it's doing best. Let's just put any icon there, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Let's use cat. I just hope this works. Sorry, my network is not allowing it to load, but I hope we've understood to that point. All right, so let's just forget about the other icons. We cannot always do that. So I don't want to leave this and this alone. So what I would do is I will now auto layout this with this. Shift A, it comes to the middle. I give it, let's give it 12. Then auto layout this with this. Is now down because this element is too high. So I bring it to the middle. What happens? All of this goes up. You now see that it's looking balanced. Let me go back again so you see it clearly. After you've auto layout this, mere looking at this, you see that this is higher than this, and it's not looking, it doesn't fit the screen. So what do? You either click on this or you click on this. But mind you, let's also check if we are also in line. As you're doing your auto layout, ensure that you are also in line. You've not um you've not bypassed your margin. Because this is showing 103 points, there is a point decimal, is because of this stroke. Because of, so you, but you can actually change this. Let's try this out. 1211. Okay, to give us an actual figure, so that it will not be in points again. So we do 112 112. Good. Now when it is like this, when you click again, you see that it's no longer in decimal. So that you not start beating yourself, why is my work in decimal? You can click on this, you will change the width and the height. Then let's do this. I auto layout this again. It is down, I bring it to up. And I don't want it. Now this is now in 71.91. You check where the fault is coming from. Whichever one that has a point, you come back, and a decimal, I mean to say, you come back and change it. Let's do 1000. All right. Have you seen? It is now in the same in your margin. Now, this is you have to adjust it. This is, let's do 40 upwards. to give it, let's do 32 to give it breathing space. So we are done creating our what is it called, our header or your nav bar. Can either call it header or you call it nav bar, whichever you want. You're still talking about the same thing. All right, now on to the next one, which is this community blog and the rest. Let me name my screen. This is a landing, this is a landing page. All right. So let me remove this so we can see proper. You see that it's now looking pleasant to the eye. You are not happy with yourself that you're doing the right thing. So let's go to feel great, body and mind. Let's leave the job down for now. Let's go to feel great, body and mind. Okay, someone would then be asking, why did I not, on this, why did I not just click enter? Boom, and it will now, then I'll now type on body, I'll now type in body and mind together. If I do this, I will not get, let's do it so you see quickly. If I do this, I will not actually get the spacing between body and mind with feel great. So I don't like doing that. I only did that for the logo because that was done. So what I do is, you do it separately. Do not add your hero, your, yeah, do not add your, yes, your hero text together with your body text or your heading. Yes, that's the word. Do not add your heading to your together with your body. Your body. Some person might come and then type, since okay, we are talking about text. Then the person will press enter, will press again, and will now start writing, choose. Yeah, will now start writing all of this down here. It is very wrong. You will not be accurate when you're auto layout. You cannot even auto layout those texts, so it's necessary you auto layout your text. So now let's change the color. It's in semi bold, it shouldn't be, it should be in regular because it looks light. Now let's auto layout this together as we did previously. Now something happened. This was not looking the same. But when you auto layout them, what happens? This feel great comes to the end. Why? Because it is here. If I decide to put it in the middle, I have centralized it. It goes to the middle. I decide to put it to the left. It goes to the left, as the case may be. Then I can choose to, let me um do this. Now let's change. Okay, I'll get to that, but let's just get this text done with. Or let's do something. Don't worry. I'll find my way around it. Let me remove this paper. Just hold on. I can always come and copy. So I do it most of the time. You just come on the site, you copy the text as you want it, and straight up you go to your Figma board, you paste it there, you change the font size to yeah, to 20. You change your font text to 2727. 7, change it to 100, remove it from semi-bold to regular. Yeah, let's use 18. 18 works. So instead of doing it manually, I'll reduce this, reduce this, reduce this. How many is there? Let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, exactly how it is. Yeah, I have auto layout this. Let me auto layout this as well. Shift A. Now, when you auto layout inside, what happens? Look at this. It's now labeled inside. Let's see what happens to this. If you click it now, this frame, you are seeing frame 14. It is very wrong for it to be there. It shows that it is not on your screen. It is not inside your screen. Let's shift this so you see what are you seeing? It did not move together with the screen. Why? Because it is outside the screen. Now, what do you do when it's like this? You click on it, you press your copy, then you paste it back. It disappears. Or you click on it, you take it outside the frame, outside your frame, you bring it back, it disappears. So there are two ways you can either do it. Either you click copy and you paste it back, or you take it inside, or you take it out and then bring it back inside. Either ways, whatever works for you. But don't leave it showing frame 14. Now, this is my, let me name this. This is my header. I've named it. And this is my, okay, I say, yeah, this is my header. Let's leave this. This is my header text. However you want to name it for you to understand. So let's create button using auto layout. Let's create this join noun using this auto layout. Let me click on this, Control D, I duplicate it, remove it. Then we are saying join noun. Oh, it's in caps lock, sorry please. All right, now this is a text. I want to do it auto layout. I'm not joining it, mind you, I am not joining it, adding this to another text again. I will just click. After clicking on this, I'll now press my shift A. Once I press my shift A, it is now in auto layout. This is the best way you can do your buttons, other than drawing. Some persons go as far as drawing a rectangle. You draw a rectangle, then you bring up, hold on, let me just show you the difference. You now bring up a text and you try to make this, you now let's bring it to the front. You see, this is some can do their buttons like this, but it's very wrong, because you not you there will be an error in this thing, and it will take you a lot of time to actually align it in the middle. But when I click on this, let me ungroup this, remove it from auto layout. When I click on this text, I press my shift A, it gives me an auto layout. Now I want to get the same size, the same horizontal padding and vertical padding of this same button size. Now this is, let's do 88. This is 88 and this is, the height is 88, the width is 220. I come here to my left hand and to the, excuse me, to my horizontal padding, I press 2, is it 220? Yeah, 220 is too big. You see that the difference between here and here. Here it shows that this is the width, but it's too big. Now let's do it something. Let's do 24. Let's do 32. Yeah, 32 works. Let's change the padding also to the vertical to 32. It's too big. 24. Okay, now let's give it this field. What's the field color here? Okay, this. Please hold on. You come here, you come to fill, because this noun is not, fill means the color inside. Now this is not in field, it is neither in field nor in stroke. I showed you how we do, how to do stroke when we started. Now let me show you how you do your field. You click on this field. Now when you click on field, it shows that it is in FFF, which is white. You click on it. Now you still click this. Now let's locate the color so we can actually get that. You do it and boom. Now your text is dark. You change your text to FFF. You change it to medium so that for it to, or semi bold, it's still not popping, to bold. It's not looking clear. Let me duplicate this so you will see. Do not use a darker color in a darker frame, so to say. Let's say let's change this to red. See that it doesn't suit well, it pains the eye. So if you are using the red text, ensure that your field color is lighter. You get, ensure that it is much lighter, so it's best you use your white. Then I want to now remove this from field, I want to put it in outline or in stroke. How do I do it? I now close this eye here, you close it, you click on stroke, it gives you stroke. Then you go back to this and change it to 27 or any color you want. Either you change it to black or you change it to red, it now suits. Why? Because it is no longer in field, or your field color is white, then yours it is now in stroke. So this works also. You can either, this is called a secondary button, this is called a primary button. Secondary button because it is stroke, primary button because it is field, but I will not dwell on it. So now this, I can move this left and right, but on this one, if I move this frame, the text is with it. Then let me group this. It is not, I even went and add auto layout to it. I'm so used to auto layout. Let me, sorry, excuse me. Let me group this. Group G. See that it's still left. It's not even working so perfect. So our advice, please don't use grouping. Now let's change the border radius, the corner radius. The corner radius at this point, this sharp edge is looking too sharp. Let's beautify it, let's make do it 8. Now see that it is now curved, but it's looking like our button is shorter than the one they did. You can always adjust it here. Yeah, let's do 16. So this works perfect. I will still come here. The spacing I'm using here, I'm using 40. The spacing between the header and the body text, I'm using 40. Now the spacing between this and the button, I will use 24 because I want it close. But I think this, let's use 32 here. Yeah, let's use 24 here. Yeah, this works. Now let's check if we are actually okay. We've not bypassed that. Now also ensure that you check the distance between here and here. I don't want it to be, let me leave it at 140. Good. Now we are almost done with this. Let's go back to the actual page and see and use our paper to see if we can actually export these images one after the other. So when I click on them, I thank God they are already grouped together. So I export it. So I drag this and I put them here and I reduce it. Let me reduce this to 200. Will it work? Let's try 200. I think we're done with. Are we done with this? No, we're not done with it. Where is our? Let me take it back. Let's do 600. Okay, 600. Okay, like from what I was saying, I reduced this to 600. Okay, now not forgetting our margin. Please let's not forget our anything you're doing. Don't forget your margin. Okay, let's see what we have here. All right, now let's go back to the main page and compare and contrast. Okay, this is just what we have here. So it's just to change the color, then we are good to go. All right, I have to delete this. Oh, I don't need to delete it first because I need the color paper. Okay, let me change the color. Okay, I'm changing the color of my screen. You can actually change the color of it. It's not compulsory that you must use white. If what you're designing doesn't fit a hair, good. Now, I will have to change my text to white, but there's something I'll also do. for clarity's sake, so that somebody will not be like, your header, why is it that the header is looking white but yours is looking gray? All right. Now on this header part or the nav bar, the text is still gray, kind of black. Now this is what they did. You come here, knowing that your top and bottom is properly aligned. You then click on that frame. Just click here, click here. Once you click here, you want to create a frame. So what happen? You do it like this, end to end. You Why is my phone, my this thing is hanging? All right, change the fill to white. Have you seen what I just did here? Then I will still have to ensure that this is aligned properly inside the frame. I'll do 22, 22. Now it is in the middle. It's sitting properly. So if you look at this here, it's the same with what we are seeing here. Now let's align. Let's group these pictures alongside this. I say group. Sorry. Let's auto layout this and this together and the text. Ensure that you auto layout your work. It makes it looks beautiful. So when I auto layout the work, you see that it's now looking up. So I bring it to the middle. Okay, you see that it is now in the middle. It now looks balanced. If you look here, this is also in the middle, looking balanced. It's not up, it's not down. That was how they did. This is how you can do your work